of you not knowing 8th grade's prayer before studying, we will simply do an Our Father. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. And remember, verse and response. I lead the first. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven.
Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Proposition. Approach the podium, please, and wait for me. Proposition. 5 minutes.
I'm Carter Small, and my group believes that there should be less homework because of 3 reasons. 1, your risk of cancer increases. 2, there's not enough quality time with family. And 3, you can get the feeling that you're under pressure. So let's say you have enough homework for, like, if you have 3 hours worth of homework. That means that, let's say you get home at 6 o'clock. You'll be up at 9 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock at night, for sleep for and then eventually you won't have enough sleep. Or maybe you may not even sleep at all. Crazy. So you might not get sleep, and there are many symptoms that you can get from not having enough sleep. You can get heart disease. You can get tired. There are some brain things, like you can lose your memory and have some people have seizures, and you also can have accidental death. Yes.
What points to prove that, what facts?
Remember, speak loudly.
What facts prove that it can cause cancer or brain damage?
Well,
What percent of people get cancer from doing homework?
well, there are many things, but death is the less. But I say cancer is about 15 to 20%.
How do you accidentally die from doing homework?
Well, see, there's different chances. See, if you're not tired enough, you can stop breathing while you're in sleep.
I'm sorry.
Well, you have chances where if you can stop breathing while you're asleep, and your body relies on sleep. If you don't have enough energy in your body will shut down. Okay. Let's say what about sports? Okay, so you can get tired over sports, and then you may not have enough time to do homework, and then you can fail your classes, and that would not be really good. And you can also get really tired and exhausted. Maybe say you're really good in sports, but you can't do sports because you have so much homework. That's just terrible.
Not having enough time to sleep can be solved by having time management skills.
Is that a statement or a question?
Oh, I'm sorry. How can you never
I'm done.
Well, you have one question left on the floor. POI, are you
No, thank
taking?
you.
All right. That's 3 minutes. Actually, it's 2 minutes and 46 seconds. Remember, we need to use more of our time. Opposition, approach the podium, please. Opposition, 5 minutes. Use them well.
The proposition resolved that there should be less homework in schools. We, the opposition, will resolve that homework is crucial to students and its current amount should be retained. Homework has existed since 1095, almost 1,000 years ago. It was invented by Roberto Novalis, an Italian teacher. Homework has been a common practice in the U.S. ever since the beginning of formal schooling. As stated on its encyclopedia.com from the Gill Group Incorporated. The average amount of homework given to middle school students weekly is about 3 hours worth. In 2000, a survey was conducted nationwide for parents. 64% of parents believe their children were receiving the right amount of homework, 25% too little, and 10% too much. Homework is defined as work or study done in preparation for a certain event or situation. Responsibility is defined as the state or fact of being accountable or to blame for something. Responsibility and homework, as well as responsibility for homework, together is a formula for success. Homework will assist in the U.S. becoming a global competitor. According to Sonali Kohli, an author on QZ.com, who specializes in education and diversity, students in Shanghai, China, spend approximately 14 hours on homework weekly, while students in the U.S. spend a mere 6 hours on homework weekly. The Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, has released the test scores for the 2012 PISA test. Shanghai's test score in the PISA science test was an average of 508, while the U.S. got an average of 497. Shanghai got a 670 on the PISA reading test, while the U.S. got a mere 498. Shanghai also beat the U.S. in the PISA math test with an average of 613, while the U.S. was lagging behind again with an average of 481. The U.S. is ranked in 35th place overall in the PISA test, while Shanghai is ranked in first place. Richard Wynn, a British professor of psychology, hosted a study on the highest IQs of countries around the world. Shanghai has an average IQ of 108. The U.S. has an average IQ of 98. Homework gives students more practice and understanding. Students in Shanghai, China spend approximately 14 hours on homework weekly. Students in Singapore spend approximately 10 hours of time on homework weekly. Students in Shanghai scored first place in the PISA mathematics test, and students in Singapore scored second place. The opposition claims that homework is useless, but it appears that homework is in fact very useful and effective.
2 minutes.
Because having homework seems to be helping students with their test scores. The more homework the students have, the higher they score on the PISA test. From the East Carolina University, Catherine Kennedy writes about an economics professor, Dr. Nick Wright, who ran a test where one group of people did homework and one did not. The group that did homework earned B's and C's, while the group that did not do homework was on the brink of failing. The group had gotten B's and C's because the homework had helped them practice and understand what they were being tested on. Homework improves study habits.
90 seconds.
2 members of our group, Laurel Connolly and Crystal Doan, interviewed Mr. Summers, a qualified teacher at SFX Catholic School. He believes without homework, students would not have the safe practice to improve skills. Safe practice, in his terms, is practice that is not graded. Homework is a completion grade for most classes and can raise a grade. Without homework, one would only have test grades, which can be very low. Using the same interview, we found that the students with least and most homework had the same test grade average. Although that is the case here, it is not the case in most schools. And even with this being said, students see long-term improvement.
45 seconds.
Lastly, using this interview once more, Mr. Summers believes that homework can help to train the students for adulthood. Students can practice doing hours of work, which they will have to do when they get older. Without doing homework, one may have the strong urge to procrastinate without future paperwork.
Good. All
Questions?
right, 20 seconds. Any more questions? Any POIs?
Tony,
How long of homework should students have in 1 night?
in one, I think my team believes that 3 or 4 hours, two to 3 hours of homework would be good.
Time for one more POI.
Kid, maybe. I'm sorry, I couldn't, never mind, kidding.
Why is it so important that we come in a certain place in the PISA test?
I think it's embarrassing. We're in 35th place. That's sad. That's really sad.
Thank you very much. Proposition. Are you ready for your second constructive?
Yes.
Excellent. Proposition, approach the podium, please. Proposition. 5 minutes.
Your risk of cancer increases. Your risk of cancer increases because when you get too much homework, you can get stressed. And when you get stressed, you lose sleep. And when you lose too much sleep, you can get sick. And when you do get sick, your body can open up to certain viruses that could let cancer in. Angela.
You said that if you get cancer,
sick. So when you get too much homework, you could get stressed. And when you get stressed, you could lose sleep. And when you do lose sleep, you are more prone to get sick. And when you do get sick, your body is weaker than it was before and could open up to certain viruses. Nicholas?
What kind of viruses can your body open up to when you're sick?
Well, are you talking about the cancer viruses?
Yes.
Well, I remember there was, on one of our note cards, it says that says that, I can just tell you this, it's a big health organization, and, it says that the viruses could be, breast, prostate, and there's one more. Yeah. And so, okay, yeah, thank you. There is not enough quality time with your family. You have less quality time with your family because you have 8 hours of sleeping, 7 hours at school, and 9 hours to do homework. With a lot of homework, that 9 hours can shorten down to 2 to 3 hours, or even shorter if there are sports practices that day. Peyton?
Aside from cancer, what other viruses or sicknesses can you get from having too much homework?
You can get sick, like cold and flu viruses that in the beginning of the year when there's the flu season, that is also more of a threat when you have too much homework. Laurel?
What fact proves that this opens you up to be more prone to the flu or cold?
Healthline.org actually did a study in October of 2013 about how too much stress because of homework can make you sick.
But
You could get the feeling that you're under pressure. You could get the feeling that you're under pressure when you have a lot of schoolwork to do and your friends and family are urging you to finish. When they are urging you to finish, you get the feeling that you need to hurry, and when you hurry, you are most likely to fail that assignment, which can make your grades suffer miserably. Josh?
You claimed earlier that homework takes
Speak up, please. Restate.
You claimed earlier that homework takes away from family time, but with homework increased family time, you have maybe you need help with a certain assignment.
That's not the kind of family time that one would probably hope for. That's kind of getting help on your math. They're talking about going out and sitting outside and doing other things with your family, not just homework. Peyton?
What? Couldn't you do homework outside with your family?
Yes, but you're doing homework, not enjoying the outside. You're more focusing on something. Your homework, say math homework, rather than focusing on something else. Laurel?
Don't some people enjoy doing homework?
Some people do enjoy doing homework, but also family time is a big thing. Nicholas?
What if the only time a parent has to spend with his child is during homework?
What if there are more than just your mother that is with you, and she can help you on your homework, and that's great. But then there are other people that you could also spend time with. Crystal?
I know for a fact that most people, when they're doing homework, they ask a family member, and most times that leads to them conversing and having fun while doing homework. So what is your fact that doing homework with family will lead to any bonding?
I'm not saying that it won't do any bonding, I'm saying that, I did not just say that.
30 seconds.
That it can, the kind of family time that I'm talking about is going out and playing somewhere or going on a walk.
Taking any POI? More POIs?
Angela.
15 seconds.
Do you have any
Statistic.
that show that isn't the type of bonding you want? Because isn't any bonding good?
I'm pretty sure all the people in my group could agree that too much homework can lead, even though you can ask your parents for help, that's not the kind of family time that other people are looking for. Jason?
Yep. End of your 5 minutes. Opposition, approach the podium, please.
As the proposition.
What? Hold on. Sorry, I was taking one more note. Opposition, 5 minutes.
As the proposition has stated, they have said that stress or pressure, you might feel pressure while doing homework, but you will need to learn how to cope with stress, because you'll have a job and you'll be stressed. You'll have children and you'll be stressed. You'll have to pay for your home and you'll be stressed. Yes.
How are you supposed to learn how to cope with stress just by doing your homework? And
Because you'll kind of get used to getting stressed, and it will become less like, it'll make you less flustered. Yes, ma'am.
When you say being less stressed, you're just thinking about with paperwork, with homework. You're not learning how to be stressed with young children or how to pay bills.
But all stress is the same.
So it's,
And homework also helps with good learning, thinking, and memory habits, because you have to turn assignments in on time, and you have to memorize things for different types of tests. Layla?
Are you agreeing with us that homework can be stressful?
No. I mean, yes, I am, but it is a skill. Stress is a skill necessary that you'll need to learn how to cope with. As for sports, as many parents, such as my own, and many parents from the opposition side, and probably many teachers at the school, your education is more important than sports. And yes, sports could give you a college scholarship or, a partial amount of it, but, you'll also need to be able to know the material and with less family time, you will need to learn how to manage your time, because that is also a skill that is necessary throughout your life. Because, you could come home, immediately jump on your homework, and then later you'll be able to have dinner with your family, be able to converse with them, spend time with them, do anything you want with your family. Yes, Peter.
What would you do if you had like 2 hours of time to do homework, but you had like 5 assignments that you're not very good at in school? What would you do?
Well, you still have to do them, so, that wouldn't matter, yes, right?
From personal experience, sometimes you may not always be able to have dinner with your family. You have so much homework.
Yeah, but I didn't say that you would always have dinner with your family.
2 minutes.
Well, same with that. What if your family had needed the money for you to go to college and you needed the sports scholarship? Also, most nights I'm not able to have dinner with my family to do homework.
Question, not statement.
I was about to get to the question.
Quicker.
So what would you do about that?
You can also have an academic scholarship, as you're probably well aware of.
I am.
All right.
Any other questions besides Peter?
Now remember, respectful. All right. If you're not going to take his POI, you need to say no, thank you.
No, thank you.
I'm gonna go back.
So, there will not always be 5 assignments in 2 hours to do them. And, from experience in Mr. Summers' class, most of his assignments aren't due the next day, unless you procrastinate and wait to do them.
1 minute.
Well, okay,
in social, like, you're saying, I know not all of them are not due the next day, but say you have a family event, you're going somewhere, all these other things, how can you manage it?
Well, that's a part of time management skills. You could probably do them in the car on the
30
way where you
seconds.
go. And,
like what study shows that more like the same amount of homework would be essential, like, because say you only had 2 hours, like I said, you're gonna hurry through that, and you're gonna probably make a bad grade. What would you do about that? Like, to prevent that?
why would you only have 2 hours?
Because of other things
School
that,
is more important than other activities. I mean, I do play sports, but
Time. Thank you, opposition. Proposition, are you ready for your rebuttal? Now, both groups. Franciscans in the corner. Remember, rebuttals are not a time for introducing new arguments. They're not a time for introducing a new counter-argument. They're just a time to list your strongest reasons and why, and what you believe to be your opponent's weakest reasons and why, and then wrapping up. Make this count. Miss Pepe, proposition. 3 minutes.
All of these problems can potentially be settled if the amount of homework could be lowered to 3 times a week, then 2 times a week, then 1 day having no homework at all. These reasons, as stated before, are your risk of cancer increases. There are not enough quality time with
No
homework,
POIs in the rebuttal.
and you could only get the feeling that you're under pressure. Because of these, homework should be lessened, or there should be less homework assigned. All these problems can be settled by less homework.
Is that it?
Yes.
Alright. 2 minutes to spare. Thank you. Proposition, take a seat. Opposition, approach the podium. Remember, no new arguments, no new counter arguments. Simply, we're wrapping up or restating. Opposition, 3 minutes.
Homework will assist in the U.S. becoming a global competitor because it will assist in higher practice and understanding of subjects, which would in most cases lead to higher test scores. Homework gives more practice and understanding to students because it provides extra resources to students if they do not understand a topic fully, and will help them to remember the concepts later on. Homework will improve study habits because if students remember to do homework, they are basically remembering to study, because they are practicing the lessons in preparation for later tests. Homework helps us, not harms us. Although the opposition has points to prove otherwise, homework benefits us more than it hurts us.
Done? First of all, a round of applause for each other. You can all breathe now. All right. Wait, we're still recording. All right, ladies and gentlemen. As for the judgment, the decision, the ruling here. First of all, both sides got high marks, got 5s for respect for the other team. I did not ever see disrespect, even Laurel. That one comment was not disrespectful, it was just, it was helping you keep it together so that we know when we go up against St. Rose or 8th grade in debates that we don't teeter there, but you're still perfect, all right? Now, both sides also got solid marks, 5s for understanding of their topics. However, proposition, I first had to take some points off for organization. Though you understood your topic and though you very clearly had a passion for your argument, your line of reasoning wasn't entirely thought out. You had several good arguments, but you didn't string them together in an order we could follow in your arguments. You jumped from one topic to the other, and so it's very important in a debate that we're able to logically show why we chose the 3 reasons we chose. Somehow, they have to be related to each other. All right? Opposition, you did do that. I was able to see you go from one comparison to the another. You compared and contrasted American education with presumably Asian education in one category, then the next category, then the next category. That was perfect. As for use of facts and statistics, I did have to take some points off there because you weren't able to support some of your points, though you did redeem yourself. I was very impressed. The mark of getting a good grade, regardless in debate, is introducing something new that the teacher didn't even know. I didn't know homework was established in 1095. Now I do. So 200 years before even St. Thomas Aquinas was born. All right, now, proposition, I had to take several marks off because, and remember, we talked about this during a persuasive essay. Dubious authority. Remember, dubious authority is when we say, most people agree with me, or some students, or most students don't like homework. And Mr. Ray, I especially noticed that during your constructive. You said when Nicholas and Peyton, and I believe who else, sorry if I can't remember, asked you, why is doing homework not considered family time? Why is it not considered quality family time? And you said, you didn't argue, and this is the direction you could have gone, you could have argued that some people don't consider that to be quality family time. Instead, unfortunately, you went for the instant deduction here. You said most, and I think at one point you even said everybody. Nobody considers that to be quality family time.
I said I'm pretty sure everybody.
And pretty sure, but either way, you're speaking on behalf of everybody. We'll get into that in literature this year, but that's the difference between fact and opinion, and that shows bias. So you have to be able to qualify. Never say most or all unless it has been scientifically proven that most or all. All humans do have to breathe. All right?
Not all.
Whether it's through life support or on their own. All right? If they're not breathing, they're not living. All right? Now, all living human beings have to breathe. Now, that's what got points taken off from your side. Also, unfortunately, you passed a value in the same sub-reason, the same argument on their behalf. You said that that's not considered quality time. So not only did you say that everybody doesn't consider that quality time, you also placed a judgment. You said that one was better than the other. Even if it was half and half, and one half liked family homework time and one half didn't, would that mean that either side was superior to the other? What if some families choose to like spending family time with homework? All right? There are those people out there, some people in this very room. Some people like education and homework. So, by doing that, you've alienated some of your audience by telling them that their idea of family time isn't important. All right? Well, remember, we're not supposed to disenfranchise our audience. Assume we have an audience in the room. Also, however, opposition. You did very well in your comparison and contrast of cultures. And you were able to ask Mr. Ray, you were able to counter his side by getting him to clarify why homework leads to cancer. I was kind of curious about that too.
You know, I actually have a better argument about that.
Now, Mr. Ray was able to counter your argument and show a logical step from homework to sickness. How through a series of steps, by the way, Mr. Ray, beautifully logical and clear steps of how homework leads to sickness. But you did not address how homework leads to cancer. And so far there have been no allusions out there or claims made by the scientific community that homework leads to cancer. Sickness and stress, yes. But remember, and I don't know the facts right off the spot, but cancer is caused by carcinogens. It's also caused by hereditary traits. There's been nothing to show that just daily homework can lead to that. And opposition, you did a beautiful job of calling him out immediately on sickness. He was able to counter you back, being able to logically explain why homework leads to sickness, but you didn't go for the gut. You didn't then get him to qualify the difference between sickness and cancer. And see, he was able to come back from you guys because you only got him to address the first part, but you didn't hold him accountable for explaining why cancer or homework can lead to cancer, because right now, until it's proven by some scientific community, there's no proof or evidence or basis for that. Keep your arguments objective proposition. When by that mean don't pass judgment on who does and doesn't like homework. Don't use most and all. Your logic was clear. Loved your history over here and your comparison of Asian and American cultures. I would say that both sides came prepared. I would say this side needed more evidence. I heard very little of it, especially during Mr. Small's constructive. This side was heavy evidence. In fact, I would say maybe back off of the evidence just a little bit in the next debate and a little bit more go on interpretation. Now, you did do well on that in the second constructive and the rebuttal. You spent more time using logic and reasoning. And it's good that the first constructive is evidence heavy, but maybe just a little bit more logic in between. I was hearing you jump straight from source to source. So, and I'll take questions once we're finished with the ruling. So, ruling here, opposition wins. And for anybody watching this YouTube video, that's not because I'm a teacher. Alright? So, homework stands. Round of applause.